and welcome to Happy You Asked, the podcast where we explore a little thing called happiness, one awkward conversation at a time. And I'm your host, Erin Claire, who currently has a wicked cold. It's awful. So if I sound all, whiny, it's because I am. And, and today I am joined by Ryan Shug Gilkerson. Ryan is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
community leader. Yeah, he's a community leader, entertainer, and entrepreneur from Cleveland, Ohio, and Painesville, Ohio. I know that because I went to high school with Ryan. He has lived a meandering life, mixing a
That's
deep,
almost our I think it's our tenth reunion this year
yeah,
from
right. Oh, I
amazing.
don't even want to know. I don't want to think about it. 18 billion years later. Oh my God. Yeah.
That you know what? As we get started here, that's one of the things that I've learned over time to appreciate is getting older because I don't want to get older, and I'm like, I've talked to so many guys that are like, that's the greatest gift. How many people do you know that died when they were 20 or 25?
Yeah.
And I tell everybody, if you look this good, I'm going to be 50 in April. I'm like, who looks this good at 50? It's amazing. So I tell you, if you look this good at 50, you're having a good life. That's what I tell them.
Well, I like as a woman too. One of the things I like is you stop caring so much. You didn't what other people think. I do not
Right.
care.
Yeah,
I'll wear what I want, say what I want, and if it's the right thing, it's the right thing. If it's wrong, I'll be like, oops, and fix it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's all we got. And
Yeah.
I have to tell you this, Dr. Claire,
Oh, yes.
I have watched your growth, and you are somebody who I don't think always knew what happiness was. And then you
Never.
went out there and you found it, and now you create it. And I was just telling my girlfriend Natalie last night, I'm like, I am so proud of Erin Claire because you're somebody who always deserved happiness, didn't have it when you were younger, found it, and now you took off. I mean, it's amazing to watch who you've become with the family, and so I'll blow some smoke up your skirt there,
Uh,
as they say.
all right, listeners. He's telling the truth, though. It's like, who's the fair
Yeah,
girl is always happy? No, I'm an around the way girl from Ryan. He
right.
knows exactly what
Yeah.
I was like in
Mhm.
fifth grade, in
Mhm.
this grade. He knows.
Yeah.
You can't hide from people you grew up with. They know who you are and they
Well,
can
and
see you
I
grow.
wish more people could understand when they're young that happiness doesn't come every time you want it. Sometimes you got to grow into it. There's a lot of people who experience happiness when they're younger and then they go through a tough time and they're like, oh my gosh, I'll never be happy again. I just wish people knew that about happiness. It doesn't come when you knock on the door, it knocks on your door and you have to accept it when it does. You can't really, everybody thinks, oh, all you got to do is just be happy. Sometimes you can't come to
Uh-uh.
bed happy, but
And honestly, those who, if we think like growing up, some
yeah,
kids who were real happy or whatever, you look at them now, most of the time, that was just given to them. It was a gift, right? Circumstances is all it was.
right.
It doesn't mean they're going to grow up to be happy. And that's the truth.
Yeah, 100%. So sorry to hijack the podcast. I also want to say this. I've been thinking about this too as I hijack your podcast. Well, first of all,
It's not. This is it. This is all we do. We talk about happiness. Whatever comes out, comes out.
I was on the radio for a long time and I did my own podcast for a long time. Just in the last year or so, well, I shouldn't say a few years, people have started to interview me. And I'm like, that's a bad idea because I'm
Mm-mm.
a runaway freight train of thought. That goes to what I'm going to say now. I was thinking about happiness. I have, and I hope if there's anybody watching that can relate to this, I have severe ADD and a mood disorder that I didn't understand my whole life. I just got diagnosed a couple of years ago with this mood disorder it's called non-specific mood disorder. It's not, it's on the spectrum of bipolar. So I have a really hard time controlling and regulating emotion. So, my girlfriend and I talk about this all the time. I told her we were talking about happiness, and happiness is a really weird construct for me because my mind works differently. It doesn't work the same. So I want to start this if anybody's, getting perspective on this, that if there's somebody that has those types of things as well, this conversation is for you because you're a nut like I'm a nut, and you know, you might relate
Yeah.
to some of the things I say. So I just want to get
Well,
that.
honestly, I think everybody is some form of a nut in some way or other. They just don't always know what it
Oh
is.
yeah, yeah,
And so there's a spectrum, and some it's really hard,
yeah,
right? And you got a lot to do with
right.
others. Others, you can manage a little more easily, but we're
Yeah,
all nuts. And happiness, I don't, I honestly don't think it comes easy to
no.
everyone. People just have better coping skills than others or
I
fewer
agree with that.
obstacles.
I agree with that 100%. It's so easy to say, well, just put a smile on your face and go into the world, and it just all
Mhm.
falls into place. But it doesn't. And but it, you know, happiness is such a funny thing to look at because it doesn't. Happiness is one of those things that isn't specific to a income level. It's not specific to a race or gender. It's not specific to a region of the world. You know,
Mhm.
and you look at it and you go, how can that person be happy? How can they be happy with what they have? And it's because that definition of happiness is so broad, and people can take what they want from the definition of happy and
Mhm.
produce it. So I just, you know, happiness is. I was thinking when you asked me to be on it, I'm looking over these questions and I'm like, oh my god, geez, these are it's deep in a hurry. Like what? But you know, you had a lot of talking points about being happy, and I told Natalie, I'm like, this is so weird to talk about because I don't have an answer to any of these questions. And yet I
Here's the thing, no one does. I'm an expert. I don't. I'm asking you.
I'm just like, I don't. And then I'm like, well, I take them. I have an answer for all of them, but I don't even know if I believe my answer, right? Like, I'm like, I don't know.
That's normal too, right? And that's what we learn. It's really what's funny about doing this is people start, some people who, they're amazing in their fields, but they've never actually thought about happiness. And they're like, well, damn, Aaron, this took me
Right.
down a whole path and a deep dive and over to the left. And then cried a little bit.
Well,
And
and you know, with
thinking about it.
happiness for me, like I was, you know, I'm a single dad. My son just graduated college last year, so
Uh,
I'm out of the rat race as a
Congrats.
kid. But thank you. But and we have mutual friends that have 4 and 5 year old kids.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
can't.
God
Oh,
bless my son. He's the love of my life, but let's get this knocked out early. I don't want to, I
yeah.
don't want to be 70 with,
My youngest just turned 17, and I'm like, oh,
oh,
I almost did it. I'm
yeah,
almost there.
beautiful feeling. But I was a single dad for a long time. I was married at one point, but not to his mom for like a year. Like it was a
I didn't even
horrible.
know that.
Oh yeah, it was a
You were?
horrible. Yeah, just a dumb situation. But I got out of that, and it kind of like flatlined my life. Like I was broke. I had to file bankruptcy. Lost my house. You know, just and was
Humbling.
just like, what am
Humbling.
I going to do now, right?
Mhm.
And I had a job. I was working in sales. Everybody thinks I'd be good at sales because I talk a lot, but I hate sales because you have to be kind of slimy. So I was sitting at my job one day and I'm like, I am not happy ever. I hate being here. I don't want to be here. And I literally one day I'm typing on the internet and I'm like, what? I got to find something I like. And this position said content writer. And I'm like, oh, I've written for magazines, I've written blogs. I'll get into that. I didn't realize that content writing for a website meant like SEO and understand all that stuff. But I was like, I don't know. I write, hit enter, sent my application in, got this job making less than half of what I was making.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm blowing it up because I'm not happy. I blew it up. And now, because of that, I got into marketing, got into digital marketing. Now I have my own company, but it's been like a 10-year journey, more than that, 13, 14-year journey for that. But happiness does this. When you find a little happiness, just a little bit, if you can find that little bit of happiness that changes your perspective, other things start to fall into place. It's crazy how it happens. Because if you chase something that doesn't make you happy, it affects everything in your life. But if you change something that does make you happy, even if it's this little sliver, the closer you get to that, the more it opens up at the top. Sadness is a funnel that takes you down like this and takes away, takes away. Happiness, you go like this, a little bit, and then it opens up at the top, and here you are. So I am a firm believer, and I tell people this all the time. They think I'm crazy, but I'm like, if you're not happy, burn it to the ground. If you've got a relationship that's really bad and you have tried and tried and tried, we've got a friend now that's in a bad relationship, and I'm like, you have got to burn it to the ground. It's never getting better. You know that. At some point, you got to jump. So, I tell my son all the time, if you're not happy with what you're doing or whatever, give it a shot. You got to give it the college try, right? Give it a shot. See if you're doing everything you can. But if you are doing everything you can in a situation and it's not bringing you happiness, get out of it, because we only have this little bit of time to find that. And what else you going to do while you're here? What else
That's 100%.
you
And I think that's what people, like younger people, I'd love them to know that life is going to take you on a path,
Yeah,
and you're going to be walking, and they're like, well, which way do you go? You go
right.
the way that doesn't make you miserable and doesn't hurt people.
Yes.
That's the way you go. And that means sometimes you got to go across country, move to Boston, take jobs that don't make sense to other people, do
Right.
stuff that other people don't get, but it's going to make you
Right.
happy. Yep, 100%.
100%. I wish people would one of the talking points that you gave me was you were talking about do we live in a world that can find happiness and these big global things, right? And sometimes we get caught up in that. We get caught up in this global construct of what happiness should be and what life should be. And according to social media, here's what happiness is, and we got to chase it. And young kids, all they see is social media. They don't
Yeah.
they don't see anything else. My son was in high school during COVID. So his end of sophomore, junior, and senior years, he didn't go to school. So everything that he learned about the world was on a screen. At that time
Mhm.
when socialization is so important. Like I told him, we'll get back to my point to say, but I told him, like, you didn't get to go crash a party. You didn't get to go to a liquor store and try to buy beer, like the liquor store on Chestnut Street and Payne.
Ah, yeah.
You didn't get to go in there, Foodorama. You didn't get to go in there
Yeah,
and
you
try to
can go
buy
do
a
that.
40, right? Like, you didn't get to do any of that. And I'm like, he missed out on all of that because he's on that screen. And I don't mean to sound like an old guy shouting
Get
at
off
the
my
cloud,
lawn.
but that screen, they haven't learned any happiness out of that little tiny screen. And he's just now coming out of it. He just turned 25. Good Lord. But he's just getting to this point where the world has opened up to him. He sees these other little things. So
Yeah.
that these little screens that we look at will change that perspective of what you think happiness is. It's
Yeah, and you can't find it there. You just find different goals towards it. This could be it. This could be it, but it's never actually located in the screen.
oh,
It,
dude.
it's outside. It has to be. That's the
It's
way
so
human
designed.
behavior works. And it makes people make themselves miserable with it.
It's so designed in my mind to take away your happiness. Like, I'm a politics guy ish. I'm not smart enough to really talk about politics, but I do anyways because it's social media. Who cares? You don't have to be an expert. And I look at like my algorithm versus somebody else's algorithm. And we got into this. I'm like, we live in a world where there is no more absolute truth to be your divining rod, right? Like,
Mhm.
I get my algorithm that gives me everything I want to hear. And somebody else that disagrees with me gets everything they want to hear.
Yep.
And it
There's no
justifies,
Walter Cronkite in the middle to be like, this is the what we're actually dealing with.
right? Nobody tells you here's the actual truth. There's no absolute truth. So it becomes two truths. This is
Yeah.
my truth. This is your truth. And as long as everything is being fed to us that fits your truth, you're pretty happy. But the minute that other truth intercedes with what you believe, absolute right away, no happiness. You're arguing. You're into this stuff,
Mhm.
and that it kind of we're in a world right now that's designed to make happiness pretty tough because it gives
Yeah.
you what you think is happiness,
Hmm.
but not because the minute you get a blip on the radar, you're down a slippery
Well,
slope.
and the whole point is not to make you feel happy. It's just to continue the addiction to the platform. So
You're
they'll
exactly right.
encourage all of that disagreement and hey, look what this side said that's against what you've sought this whole time, just
Right.
to get that engagement, those clicks. And the
Right.
only way to get outside of it is like to actually get outside of it and say, oh, that's not real. That's actually a made up
Right.
world of conflict that's harming me. I can
Right.
use it for good things like finding out what's coming up and
Right.
connecting with people I love. But the
Right.
rest of it, it's not doing it the good things for me.
Well,
So I got to break it.
imagine, Aaron, like my job is social media management for small businesses. So if you look at my screen time, and first of all, everything I do is on my phone, which is crazy. My entire workspace is a recliner, my dog, and my phone.
How
That's.
your thumbs doing, man? How your thumbs?
I got the worst carpal tunnel, dude. That's
Oh,
all.
right. Like, I seriously, my terrible.
I was like, what happened? Why are my thumbs
Why
shaking?
is like
My thumbs are like, it's the worst. But um, I spend my screen time is about 8 or 9 hours a day
mm,
on my screen.
hmm
I can't get away from it. When I'm working on a client's projects or whatever, I'm in a feed and I'm going up and down, and it's like, it's so hard to disconnect from it. That's one of the reasons that I get into all these political arguments in this because I'm being
Well, yeah,
I
you're
get
there.
into it.
But you know as well as I, though, like when you do, you going out with girlfriend, you're doing different things, right? It feels so different in the body and the mind.
Yeah, yeah, for sure it does. But my big thing I've got to get better at, and I'm not, is I have to resist the bait to take me down that path. It never makes me happy.
No, and nothing gets solved. Like
No,
it doesn't, oh, I fixed it. Yeah.
right, right. I'm persuasive, but not persuasive enough to influence a whole collective of people that don't agree with me to all of a sudden agree with me. You're never going to do that. And
Yeah.
that worries me about our country as it relates to happiness is how do we ever get back to a middle ground? No matter which side of the spectrum you're on with your political beliefs, we're at a point now where, again, there is no truth that we can collect to. It used to be in the United States that war was the great unifier. Oh, if we go to war with somebody, we're all going to get together. You know what I mean? And that's not even true anymore because we argue about who we're at war with. Whether we should have, like, it used to be, oh, we're at
Are we even
war.
fighting it? I don't know. Like,
Get the flag out. We're gonna, and now it's like, oh man, you're wet. So it's like, what is gonna bring us together at some point? So this is where I feel like when you need a reset in life to find happiness, like I said, you got to burn it to the ground.
sometimes you got to
I
burn it.
feel like that's what's going to happen here. Like, might have to burn this thing to the ground to get it back up, and that's sad, but that's kind of circle of life, Simba. That's the way it works.
Well, there's been a number of other people on the podcast who have talked about like the ways that we help, and they're all things that you've already been doing for years. So coming up like the unity in the community day, things like that, or
Yeah,
that you have the basketball awards you created for
yeah, yeah.
Painesville, your brand line, Bill City Clothing, to support the band and choir, all these different things. You've done all this for years, and that does help people. But then it's so frustrating that you're like, why isn't it fixed though?
Yeah, dude. It is well, like I just got a call from my friend Chris Lee, that's a Painesville guy. We've had a slew of murders in Painesville where kids are killing other kids. And it's kids of people we grew up with and went to school with. And I know their family, I know their grandmother, I know their aunts, I know their uncles, and these kids are killing each other. So a few years ago, I had to go out there. We had a talk about kids killing kids. My guy Yodi, rest in peace. Yodi got shot and killed, and now we've got kids this summer that got shot and killed, and then just 2 weeks ago, we had two kids shot and killed. I say kids, they're 19, 20 years old,
Yeah.
and I've got to go back out there next week. We're having a big rally summit to talk about it, and they asked me to come out, and it's one of those things where you find a lot of happiness doing things for the community, but it comes at a price because now we have to be serious about it and take that into consideration. So it's one of those things that, like, I never being younger, I always had some influence. And I look back now and I'm like, oh, I did win award. Like every award I ever got, every trophy I have in my house, it's not sports, it's not man, what it's leadership.
Yeah.
And it's something that I didn't understand until I get older. Like, dude, that's what you do. Like, you got to step into that. And as side note, I'll tell you this that I talk about, but a lot of people don't know it. I don't know if what a homie podcast this is, but are you familiar with the Delamont family?
I do. I do
So
know them very well. Yes.
yeah, Abby and Ray Delamont are my heart. That we hang out all the time. I love them.
Oh, hey,
But
Abby.
oh, no doubt. So their son Alex was a buddy of mine. We call him Staying Hungry. And Hungry was this kid that was just like a hippie, stoner, whatever kid. And I would see him out. Like I would, I've been in music stuff for a long time. So I'd go to like an industry party and there's Alex. I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm taking pictures. He had his camera. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I would see him like in the line to get in. And then I'd go and he'd already be there. I'm like, okay. And then he started getting into things I couldn't get into. I'm like, what are you, right? And we became really good friends. And he was this happy, beautiful guy. And he died by suicide. And none of us even knew he was going through things. But when he passed away, it triggered something in me because I'm like, that's you, dude. You're the guy nobody ever sees having a bad day. They only see the happy. And dude, you struggle a lot. Like you've got to get out and let people know that. But it also said to me, you got to make a difference while you can because people can learn from your story and people can learn from your pain, right? So
Yeah,
that was,
100%.
yeah, that was the catalyst for me doing a lot of what I do was Alex because I'm like, dude, if he had a redo, I think that kid would have taken over the world in
Mhm.
such a positive way, So that's what got to me. I don't want to waste a lot of time in my life without giving something. That's the way I feel about
Well, no, but I think that's a lesson that uh, shocks that people don't hear a lot that they need to. I remember having this moment when I was teaching college and I was teaching like freshman comp or whatever, and just disillusioned with the whole higher ed business and like, why are they here? What am I trying to teach them? And I'm like, oh, they have to be leaders. I have to teach them how to be a leader. And here's the thing I realized, oh, it's every adult's duty to be a leader in whatever they are have been gifted with.
you.
So that's what I sort of said. Okay, I have to go lead this. That's having you like someone's got to step up, and
Yeah,
every adult is supposed to be a leader.
that's an
That's what
interesting thought. Also terrifying because there's a lot of adults
I know.
lead, right? Like,
That's why a lot of
yeah,
people
but
haven't realized like that's my job here. Oh, I'm screwing that up. But if they did, then they could pivot, right? And be like,
yeah.
okay, I know my mission now. And I have to mess it up.
Leadership is funny though because like people will say to me like, "Oh, you do so much," and it doesn't take a lot to lead. People look at all these things that I do, not toot my horn. I do a lot of stuff, and people go, "Oh my gosh!" It's like half the time it's just that I show up. It's not even that
You're
I'm
right.
leading.
Showing up is the biggest thing. People don't do it. I
It's
don't do it enough because I don't want to. But
no, it's the biggest thing, right? It's what I have to offer. Is my superpower. Natalie and I talk about it all the time. She never gets it. I talk a lot, which is my whole life. I have all the report cards. I look at them all the time and I laugh. I show Jaden. I look at him with my mom. C, great kid, very nice. Won't shut up. Talks too much. Talks to his neighbors. And conduct. We had conduct grades. C every time. Good kid. Won't shut up. Right. I'm like, oh God. I tell my mom I was in training that whole time. I was just training for my life, right?
that was
But
your gift.
yeah, I talk too much, right? Who would have thought that was a gift? And ADD is my gift. Like Robin Williams, one of the things I can do is I can adapt on the fly because my brain doesn't go down the track. As you can tell by this conversation, I go all over the place. But at some point, you find what you're good at And that's what you contribute. That's how you make the difference, And so to me, it seems like nothing to show up, or every room I walk into for a fundraiser, they give me the microphone and say, do this. Like I get microphones just handed to me.
That's
But
because you'll talk. And the rest of us like, at least I don't have to. Let him do it.
100%. Exactly. But you find how you make an impact, and then that's how you help others. And you don't have to get out of your comfort zone to make an impact. A lot of people don't realize that. I help with a lot of fundraisers, and I just had somebody asking me, they were in a contest called Dancing Under the Stars, which I won a few years ago. I
Yes, you
set the
did.
all-time fundraising record that hasn't been touched. I raised $19,000 in 3 months, and the next closest is $13,000. So I'm kind
Woo, get it.
of
No, own it. Own it.
and Natalie's doing it this year, so we're about to
Oh,
get
she is.
yeah.
Yay.
But somebody was in it, and they said, "Will you help me fundraise? I want to do XYZ." And you threw these parties. And I said, listen, I party. That's what I do. I throw parties. That ain't you. You got to find, what do you do that will contribute? Because once you find that thing that you do and you learn how to incorporate that love of something into your life, you can open doors all over the place, and you can do things
100%.
that I can't do, right? All part of finding your happiness. Find what
It
makes
also doesn't feel like work the same way anymore.
you 100%. 100%. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I was thinking about, talking about those kids killing each other and I mean, at least what's the solution? Because for most people don't go there unless they don't have hope of something else. They feel hopeless. So why do they feel hopeless, do you think? What are you
I,
going to say to them?
I don't know that it's hopelessness per se. I had a cousin that I call Rambo because this dude was in the special forces, right? And they would send him into these third world countries run by drug cartels. And he would take like five guys into these compounds that the drug lords had, and he would take everybody out, and he would kill people. Like, he killed people. And then he would come home and walk with his kid to school. Happiest dude I ever met. We had so much fun together. And one day I just asked him, I said, dude, how do you kill people and then come home and go to basketball practice, right? And he said, there's something wrong with me. He said, in order to kill somebody, think about this, in order to take somebody else's life, you have to have some sort of psychosis. It's what it is, because it's not natural. It's not
Mm.
something that comes naturally to people. You have to have something in your brain that allows you to do that. And it's so I've always kept that nugget like, wow, you gotta be a little off. You mirror that back to a couple things: the mental health crisis in the United States, impoverished kids don't have access to mental health care, and in different communities, it's taboo to talk about.
You're right. You're right.
Sense
You're
that
right.
as the generations go on, these kids are products of not dealing with mental health, dealing with the mental trauma that comes with poverty, that comes with systemic racism.
Hmm.
And it has kind of numbed a lot of these kids to, the fact that they could get out of that. Now, the other thing is social media, again, has told them that you don't have to have a respect for human life. Even when you're on social media, and we all do it, I do it all day. I laugh at people falling down on ice, or I laugh at people who fall out of a stool and hurt themselves. We laugh at pain and agony. We think it's funny. So these kids were raised on that from a young age. You don't care about anybody's strife, you laugh at it. And I saw a guy the other day on a podcast who had been to prison and got out. And he said, back in the day, a rap music, I am entrenched in rap music for life. I'm always going to be in it. And when we were young, we had like Snoop Dogg and Tupac or whatever, and they talked about being gangsters or whatever. But today, the rappers out there will tell you what crime they're going to commit, when they're going to do it, who they're going to kill, and they go do it. This guy said back in the day, the way that you had status was gold teeth, fur coat, pretty girl, nice car, chains, bunch of money. These kids get status by how many people they've killed. And he said
Mhm.
these kids will go to jail for 25 years just to be able to say that they killed somebody because that gives them their status. The respect for life is gone. There is no more reverence for
Mm.
life. And it's just so sad. One of the kids that got shot over the summer lived 2 houses down from me on Gillette. And he's 4 or 5 years younger than Jaden. But this little dude would walk by our house every day, talk to us, play with Jay a little bit. I watched him his whole life. He got to high school. I'm always around the high school. Beautiful kid. One of these kids would come up and give me a hug, beautiful, beautiful boy. But then I'd see him on Instagram, $10,000 in cash fanned out, car behind him, fronts like this. And I thought to myself, why doesn't somebody stop this kid? You know where this is going. He thinks this is happiness. Got all this stuff. I'm happy. And then he gets killed, and it's like, as a society, we should do something when these kids are young and say, no, 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 no. Instead, a lot of the older people in this kid's life be like, oh, I see you, nephew. I see you getting that money. Get it, get it, get it. Nobody put the brakes on this kid. And I'm good friends with the police chief in Painesville, Dan Waterman, and we've worked on a lot of initiatives for police brutality, educating the police on his staff on how to handle things. But he called me up and he was like, what do I do about this? What do I say to the community? Like, what do I say to Painesville about this kid passing away? And I'm like, dude, I don't know that there's much you can say because there is an illness in our community that believes that you should encourage them to get money no matter what the cost. So what do you say? Hope it doesn't happen again, blah, blah, blah. But it's happened twice since he died. There's been 2 other murders since then in that city. So,
This is what I noticed, and I wonder if you think this is true.
yeah.
Violence in the Cleveland region metro area, like people are just much more willing to be violent. And I think about this in terms of comparing it to the three places I spend a lot of time. So obviously Boston's traffic is not to be messed with. That is serious. It is actually the worst traffic in the nation. We
Wow.
don't play. It is ranked worse than anywhere. But it's also a sort of sport. It's fun, right? We all know
Yeah.
what we're doing and we work together in a jerky way.
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to weave, you're going to do all the things. If someone's a complete a-hole, we'll all work together to hurt that person, right?
Oh,
And so
yeah.
it's different. But in
Yeah.
Cleveland, I would never cut because someone will shoot me if I am going down 90 and I do the wrong thing. They will chase me and they will actually kill me. And
I
that's a huge difference between the areas.
Again, there's no reverence for life. I was going down Woodland, like I was living in University Heights, and we would take Woodland to get to the Opportunity Corridor, which takes you downtown. And it was in the morning. This dude cut me off. I lay on my horn. I have the worst road rap. And this guy was in the car with his kid, taking his kid to school, and the dude pulled a gun and was like pulled a gun on me. It was like, and I'm like,
Oh my
with this kid in the car. I'm like, oh, it ain't that serious, my bad.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
can't even see, and that's how we grew up. It's been that sort of
right,
violence. It's gotten worse and worse. And
yeah.
I wonder why it's centered there so much that like respect of life, I'll just kill whoever. Why it's there more than I'm seeing in other places. It have to do with like the way the industry is left or something that's changed. I don't know.
If
But I
you've
can
been
definitely
to
notice it.
East Cleveland, and I've been to different impoverished places, East Cleveland, though, dude, is a
Oh,
wasteland.
that's a different world.
There was a guy, well, I think it was Matthew McConaughey came out here to film a movie and filmed himself walking through East Cleveland. And he was like, I can't believe this is the United States.
Yeah.
This looks like a bombed out war zone. Like, and it does. There's
It
places.
really does. Hey, it's not an exaggeration.
imagine living in that or living next to it or seeing it. And everyone in your family for 3 generations has lived there. And everybody for 3 generations has fallen into this complacency like it's never going to get better. And this is where you are. That's
Mm.
also why people that do make it out of that situation change the world. Because
Yeah.
think about how convicted you have to be, how strong you have to be, how intelligent you have to be to get out of that cycle. Those are people that make a difference in the world. You see these
Yeah.
kids. I work in a lot of the schools. I worked last summer. My guy Fatty Banks has a program that instills confidence in kids, and we went to Glenville and Collinwood and Shaw. We went into
Mm.
these high schools in these really tough neighborhoods, and the kids were not responsive at first. They got their earbuds in, whatever. When they saw that somebody actually cared, they'd start to kind of pay attention. Then when they saw we were going to have fun when talking about stuff, they perk up. By the end of that, 3, 4 hour session, whatever it is, these kids are in this and they're talking and all this. And it's just that connection they have with somebody that cares
It
because
treats them like a human being,
100,
right?
because their
Yeah.
families don't treat them like human beings a lot of times, which is tough.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's where all of that comes from. When you talk about happiness too, how do you find happiness when you're surrounded by blight? When you're
Yeah.
surrounded by that, how do you find happy? Um, but people do, and if people can do that, they've worked a miracle, right? So
No, that makes so much sense what you said. I hadn't thought about it that way, but yeah. So really, I mean, thinking about like the cycle of poverty in those places too, especially the cities that have been on the decline.
yeah,
I mean, everywhere throughout the Rust Belt, not just Cleveland, but like Detroit.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Detroit is a crazy place too. Cleveland and Detroit are kindred spirits.
Yeah.
Um, I spent a lot of time in Detroit too, and it's funny where life has taken me along the way because of what I do and have always done with music. I've been to the toughest neighborhoods in Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, like all these cities, because that's where the art is, and
Yeah.
that's crazy too. Art,
That's where the most authentic often comes out of.
yeah, and isn't it funny as we talk about happiness? There's very little quality art that comes from happiness. Art comes from tragedy. Like you
Yeah.
can't sing the blues if you ain't been blue. Hip hop music, people that are, shiny happy, they don't sell 3 records, right? You got to find somebody that's a story to tell. So,
And even songs that, we know happiness that doesn't come that isn't authentic. If you tell
right,
that story that I got the happiness, it came through
right,
this struggle. I know what
right,
you're going through. That's what
right.
people that they feel that.
I agree. So it's every neighborhood I've been to that's like that, you find these little diamonds in the rough that have managed to find their way. And but you look around, you're like, how could you ever be happy if this is your lot in life? How could you ever be happy in here, right?
Yeah.
But you find it, it is what it is. But dude, I wanted one of your talking points that you gave me to get me
Yeah.
thinking. I'm gonna ask you
Okay.
because
Yeah.
this is everybody has oftentimes the same answer to this, but
Mhm.
what was the happiest moment in your life?
Oh, you're actually going to ask me?
I'm asking you because I want to see what you say.
Oh, that's rude. Look, I didn't prepare.
Well, you better get it together. Come
I
on.
have so many. Um, you know what? Honestly, I'm gonna pick just one more recently, which was that
Okay.
Hozier concert at Fenway Park.
Oh my
And
God. There you go.
yes, and it's the first time an Irish man had headlined Fenway, which is, as you can imagine, a big deal. You
Yeah.
too, he never did it, but they never headlined, so he was the first one, and he
Wow.
brought all his
Wait a
family
second.
because
At
there's
Fenway?
at Fenway Park,
How
and he
does
brought
that slip through the cracks until
right.
2020? Okay.
He
All right.
probably went to the Garden. They probably played a different venue.
Right.
So he brought over all his family over from Ireland. They're all in the audience. So it's like met like people he just knows because you can fly back and forth to Boston. It's easier for me to fly to Dublin than it is to go to Little Rock. It's like
Wow.
a 5 hour, there's like 10 flights a day or more. And they're all there. There's all these Irish people came over to Boston because they could just hop on over. They're all there, sold
Cool.
out crowds. We're singing every song with him. And he just up there alone, his voice carried all of us. And
Oh,
behind him was the building where I work that I have a freaking job at in the Boston. I'm like, how did I get here? Look at
that's
you, girl. That, and everybody's singing the joy. That was one of the happiest moments of my life.
so when everybody says what you're everybody that's a parent automatic, oh, the birth of my child, greatest day of my life. And
I
I'm
was uncomfortable. That hurt.
oh, dude, I've told Jaden a million times. I said, kid, I love you. That was a great day. Love seeing it. Not the happiest day of my life. I said, I've had
Stressful.
so many memories with you that I like so much better than that. We've had so many more, like, there's been so many more impactful things. Dude, you're alive for 2 minutes. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? There's been so many other moments in life that made me proud and made me feel close to you. I think, again, we have fallen into a trap where you feel obligated to say that your happiness matches everybody else. And you're obligated to say, this is what made me happy, because if I don't say it, people are going to think that I'm not.
Yeah, they're gonna think I don't love my kids. Nope. I could have chosen another one, like last night, talking with my eldest, who is first year in college and taking a Hindu religions class, and we're talking about the Vedas, and we are geeking out and so excited and just blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And so I've created someone that I really like. And I
Yeah.
like talking to that person. And
Right.
I'm proud. And that's much better than the day they were born, where I'm just like, this was an awful feeling. Glad you're here, but oh,
I'm not a mom, I'm a dad. And I remember me thinking, God, I'm tired. I got all this stress. I don't know what's next. Now I got to take care of this
yeah, what
kid.
do I do with this thing now?
Life is just coming at you like not the greatest day. That moment when I saw him, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Like I'll never forget looking at him. Outside of that, that was a shitty, excuse me,
You
40
can say it was a
hours.
shitty day.
Yeah, it was
0 out of
48
10
hours of
stars.
just getting hit in the face with life,
I'm
right?
in the hospital. My parts are everywhere.
Oh
No.
gosh. But I tell Jaden all the time. And Jaden, in our life, I was a single dad, like I said, and finding my way and very immature. I'm still very immature for my age. I just am. I don't grow up. But especially when I was younger with him, a lot of bad decisions and a lot of just time where and doing things that I don't think he understood at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And was always there for everything with him, for sure. Did everything, volunteered in his classes, all that. But there were a lot of times when I was still hosting clubs. I'd have to go out on the weekend, and every weekend night I was gone till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. But that's how I made money for stuff.
Yeah.
But I also would drink and party too. So I would like wake up late, and he didn't always get all that. And there was a long time. He's very different than me, and I think we didn't connect on a lot of things. He didn't understand it, but now he does.
Mm-hmm.
And as he got older in high school, now he starts to put the pieces. Oh, okay, we have more in common than I think. And he and I
Yeah.
are so much alike, but so different in so many ways.
Yeah. Same. That's the best thing about kids, I think, is being able, and the hardest thing, being
Yeah,
able to see yourself in someone else, but also better versions of it, hopefully.
gosh, yeah, 100%. Like we are diametrically opposed in many ways, but then when you get down to it, he's got this caring and compassion and beauty to him that I just admire so much. And I like to think that part of that is what he's seen
Yep.
me helping.
Yeah.
But then we,
Like, and that's a good lesson though, that you can stumble along the way as you're an adult.
yeah,
Gosh, I know what I'm doing, like any of us
right,
do. We don't,
right. Oh
because you
no,
can stumble, but your core is always kindness towards what's right and moral and good.
yeah,
And even if we mess up, that's what we're trying to instill,
yeah,
right? Sanctity of life for people, treating other people well, and then keep going there. And we can trip and fall and be stupid so long as we're still on that path.
it's treating people nicely is a commodity.
Mhm.
That's something special nowadays, which you don't think. And a lot of what I when I got into doing more in the community, I started out like it was almost my penance, whatever the word, penance, penance, whatever.
Yeah, you got it right.
Because
Penance,
I
yeah.
was like, because I was like, I've done so much dumb stuff, and I've been greed and wanting all this stuff, and it didn't work out. I got to give back. I started giving back out of obligation. Like I better do something nice, you know. And it fulfilled me so much that now it's just become something that I love to do, and
Yeah.
I get happiness from giving back and being a part of that.
That's the thing. Once you start, it becomes like a bug. You're like, that felt good for me and them. Let's do it again.
100%. And with me getting the MC fundraisers and stuff, it feeds my ego because I am completely driven by getting attention, which is something I never
Dopamine.
100%.
Yeah.
I didn't know my whole life what that was. I always know I want to be famous. I want to get attention. I gotta do anything to get attention, and I didn't know that that was an ADD.
Dopamine chasing. Yeah.
Didn't know that, you know. And then I get older. I'm like, you know what? That tracks. That makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
but you know what? Now that you know, think of how you can educate. There's so many people
Oh
who are the
yeah,
same way, and they're like, why am I chasing this? Like, you're just chasing dopamine. You can resist one, go to that, use it in this way to help
right.
you and not hinder you. If
Yeah,
you're aware.
100%, dude,
Yeah.
100%. I never run away from it. I can tell you that. That's hard to do, but I learned how to harness it. Right, like now I chase dopamine, but for good. So I'm like,
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's right. You got to chase it for good. And you know
yeah,
what? We're almost at the end of our time. I only
yeah.
have two more questions,
Oh,
even though
let's
I've got
go.
to ask you crap because you
Because
already
I
prepped
talk
so
to you.
well. No, you're doing the right thing. I wish every guest were like you. All right. So if you had like one final message to give
Yeah.
folks, what would you say about happiness?
Uh, if you don't have it, go get it. I think that life is too short to be complacent when it comes to happiness. There is nothing more important than being happy. Um, but when you chase it, make sure it's not fool's gold. You know,
Hmm.
make sure
Yep.
that it's fulfilling. Make sure it's not just chasing money. Um, money,
Here's the thing that I feel
yeah,
it will only be the right one if it's for good, right?
yeah, but well, I think there's a lot of evil people that get fulfilled by evil things too. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah. But I
think
don't
there's
think they're
some
real
people that
happy.
are
Do you? I don't
fulfilled.
think they're happy.
I don't know. Because who am I to say? Like I don't know.
That's true.
There might be some people that have that switch that makes them joyous. There's an awful like not to be too political. Look at Epstein Island, right? There's all
Yeah.
these rich people that seem to get something out of that, you know. So I don't know what if they're happy or not. It's easy to say, well, they can't be happy because they're doing the wrong thing. Maybe the wrong thing makes them happy. I don't know what makes them happy. But for me, and here's what I would tell them: if that really gives you happiness, I guess go do it. Try not to hurt other people, but if being a menace makes you happy, pursue it. Probably not going to work out well for you in the end, but go do it. Like you have to, whatever it is in life that truly makes you feel good inside, you got to go do it. And don't spend too long sitting in one spot that doesn't make
Mm.
you. I worked at a bank for 13 years, which,
13 years?
yeah, dude,
How'd you do that, Ryan?
Bank
I
of
can't
America.
imagine.
Oh, dude, I hated every day. And I
Mhm.
was the guy, it was Bank of America in Cleveland, and we had like 2,000 people there. So I would volunteer to do anything to get out of work. Like I was I forget it was a recreation committee or something, but I was in charge of throwing parties for this site. Dude, I'd throw concerts, I'd bring in stages and speakers. Like I did whatever to get out of work because I hated it. And the people that worked there said, well, listen, you'll never make more money than this. You're never going to find a job like this. You have good benefits. Think about that. And when Jaden was born, I was there and I'm like, man, I can't let all this go now. But I wasn't even the best parent I could be because I wasn't happy enough to teach
Yeah.
him, right? I stayed there for so long and got out of it and was like, oh, this is what life's like if you get out and do other things. So I
It doesn't have to suck. It doesn't have
Oh,
to suck.
I spent way too much time being unhappy for no reason. So especially when I talk to kids, like I'll do career day in elementary schools, and I talk about what I do, and then I'm like, by the way, kids, you're probably not going to have the same job when you graduate college you thought you were. You're not going to finish college doing what you thought you were going to do.
Yeah.
You're going to change careers 30 times. You know what that
Yeah.
means? It's not that important. It's not that
What?
big of a deal. Not important enough to be unhappy. Not important enough to not find self worth. Not important enough
Yeah.
to put up with a boss that treats you bad. Get out. Go
Yeah,
find.
100%.
Yeah. The best motivation. You have people that job hop a lot for money. I'll make more money if I do this. I'll make more money if I do this. Benefits are better, blah, blah, blah. And they're not happy. Job hopping for that doesn't make sense. Job hopping to find happiness, do it all day.
Do it all day long. As
And
many as
plus,
you
you
need
get to
to.
do different stuff. Like, I can't imagine these people that work at one place and get a gold watch because they've been there 50 years. Kill me. I don't want to. I don't want to be at one job for 50 years. I would be.
Maybe they loved it. Most people, that doesn't work out now, especially not today.
No, dude, it's just not the it's not the business, as the kids say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that yeah. So my biggest thing is if you're not happy, find it.
Yeah.
Again,
Blow it
burn
up.
it, burn it to the ground, man. If it doesn't give you what you need, because you're wasting so much time without knowing that there's something else out there. You know, it's right there. You
100%.
just don't know it because you won't take the leap. So it's easier said than done, you know, especially when we talk about kids coming from poverty, like we were talking about. Like it's easy for me to say that because I live in a nice house and I'm in the suburbs and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
I don't worry about what I'm going to eat. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, I'll have some spaghettios and nothing else, but
Yeah.
it is harder, I believe, to take those kind of risks when the opportunity isn't as obvious, But I tell them all the time too, like you're worth more than that, man. Go find it.
Mhm.
So that's my thing.
And then the question I've been most excited to ask you is
Yeah,
you get a song,
yeah.
put on the playlist, and I was like, oh, what's Ryan going to pick? What's Ryan going to pick?
So I thought hard about it. Actually, I didn't have to think that hard about it. My favorite artist of all time is Al Green. And
Oh, that's a good one.
I've been to see Al in concert 3 times, twice with secular music, once with gospel music.
Ah,
And I'm So Glad You're Mine by Al Green. It's a
oh,
song that if I put that on, it's just so airy and he's happy and it's got the little drum behind and it's just such a great song. So that
yeah.
I was thinking about the play. I'm like, should I do a hip hop song? I'm like, I don't know. This one makes me happy. I want to hear that. So Al Green, I'm So Glad You're Mine is my
Good for
contribution
Al.
to the playlist.
Ryan, I am so proud of you. I really am. I mean, I same thing. I've seen you forever. I am so proud of who you've become and how you've helped people in a way that is I couldn't do, nobody else could do, only you can do in that place. And I am just grateful you exist.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But anybody watching, find your way, dude. Your way isn't anybody else's. There's things that you do. Like, Aaron, I'm not nearly as smart as you, dude.
Yes, you are.
But also you did roller derby. Like, for the love of God, who does that? Who does that? I don't know anybody else. Like, it's we all have our things that. Oh,
Someone who grew up in Painesville, Ohio.
they
You gotta
didn't
hit
offer
something.
that at Laura's Roller Emporium. They didn't have the roller. But I think the thing is, and I always keep this in mind, is that as much as you admire somebody else's talent and you see that in them, they admire something about you, and they might not tell you. And you got to remind yourself of that on your own sometimes. But we all have something that somebody else wishes we had, and that's once you find that, then you unlock potential all over the place.
Uh, well, thank you again. I hope to
Thank
see you
you.
next weekend when I'll be in Painesville. Hang out with
Oh,
I'm
nice.
going to see my ma. Yep.
Oh, well, tell your mother I said hello. Where do people find this podcast?
I this is on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple. I'll send you the link right after.
That's awesome. We'll make sure to make sure that I have the highest show. We'll make sure
Of
I have the
course.
highest, most listened to podcast.
Good. All right. Thank you again, Ryan. Thank you to
Man,
everyone
I
listening.
appreciate you.
And to next time.
All right.
Bye.
Be happy.
That's right. Be